Hello everyone and welcome to Svecha Farm School in Alwar. We're live here straight from Satyajyoti Farms to bring you yet another DIY masterclass, and this time it's on the theme of vermicomposting. Today we're here to talk to you about some of the benefits of vermicomposting and also show you some DIY practices that we have been implementing at the farm, and also try and show you what the success rate has been like and how you can start practicing these at home. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. Okay, so here's what we need to start the process from scratch. We need 25 liter or so. You can get a smaller size bucket as well. We've got a 25 liter bucket. This is an old paint bucket that we were able to get from a waste market nearby. What you need to do to this bucket before you start is drill it. We'll show you a quick video of how you can drill it and what you should use while drilling. We have a drill machine that you use, and make sure to drill as many holes as possible. These holes allow for the worms to come in and out of the bucket very easily. It also allows for aeration for these worms, for the bucket, and also for water to pass out very easily. It's perfect just like this. You need to drill holes all around the bucket. You need to drill holes at the bottom, and you need to drill holes at the top, which we'll show you once we put the lid on the top. So I have a paint bucket here with me. I have some scraps of paper that we've cut into very small bits, and we're going to use that as well. I also have kitchen scraps, which will also be adding, of course, for the worms. There's compost, and of course the red wiggler worms that we're going to be adding to this entire worm tower, worm bin, to start our process of vermicomposting. Okay, so once you've got your structure of your bin ready, as you can see, this of course has all the holes in place, so you make sure you have enough holes. Once you've got the bin ready, we're going to place it inside the bed that we have here. So we have a vegetable bed here where we're growing all kinds of vegetables. At home, on your terraces, on your balconies, if you are doing container based gardening already, or if it's something that you're looking at starting, this worm bin will be a great addition to that. So you need a veggie bed, or you need a plant bed in which you have enough space to keep a worm bin like this. You can also place it in your garden. You just have to dig up the right amount. So what you can see here, I'll just lift this again for you to see, is that we've dug up a pit roughly 2 feet in size, which is almost the entire height of this bin. Just the surface, the top part of the bin, almost just till the lid is what is left. We're going to press it down gently, and then we're going to cover up the entire sides of the bin so that it's nicely compacted into the bed. So now that your worm bin has been integrated into the bin, into the bed, what we're going to do now, the first step after placing the bin, is that we're going to add some fresh compost that we have to the base, right? So this compost is not just compost, it also has a lot of leaves and twigs, which will provide a great safe space for the worms to actually live in and simultaneously crawl in and out of. What we've noticed is when we start making these bins, within the first few days, you'll see that a lot of the worms automatically go right till the bottom of the bin. And one of the reasons for that is not something you have to worry about. Your worms are still safe, and we'll show you how our other worms are doing as well. They just tend to crawl all the way till the bottom to build their home. So you're going to see a lot of worms immediately once you've added all the compost and the leaves. They're going to move straight in to the bottom. So we've got a base layer of compost that's ready. I'm going to just add some of these paper clippings. They're nice and moist already. Just going to add some of them here. I'm going to add some more compost on the top. So you just keep repeating this process, right? You can maybe mix in a little bit more of soil if you want. And right about then is where we're going to start putting our kitchen scraps. So one of the kitchen scraps that we look at is eggshells, which is a great fertilizer for your soil. What we're going to do here is, you're not going to use it just like this. You have to, with your hands, just squish it up and make it into really fine pieces. You can also, blend it if you want in a mixie jar, and so that you get really fine particles of eggshell, and you place that easy for the worms to also feed on, and very good for your soil. Right after that, we've got kitchen scraps, a lot of leafy greens that we're just going to break up to the right size so that they can be easily eaten by our worms. And then we're going to place them right into our worm bin. So as you can see, some food for the worms, right? And then we're going to Once again, add compost, add soil, plenty of it, right? And just make sure that the holes are also getting covered as you move up the top of the bin. Alright, I'm just going to add some more paper and some more of your kitchen scraps. You can also, if you like, and you have some, dried leaves are in and around. I know in a lot of parks you actually get in parks near your house, you'll get a lot of dried leaves during the season when they tend to fall. Rather than burning those, or rather than leaving them at the park, you can bring them back up in a sack, and you can use them, of course, for mulching purposes for your plant beds, but in addition to that you can also use them for composting inside these worm bins or individually as well. So we'll show you that method as well. I'm just going to, once again, maybe we can bring the camera closer to the worm bin and see how much has been covered, right? Just add whatever little bit leftover kitchen waste you have once again, and you have to remember to keep filling this up with food regularly. Another thing that you need to do is add water regularly into this worm bin, and one of the reasons for that is because the worms really enjoy a moist surface. They enjoy breeding in moist areas. So your compost that we've added right now is actually very moist. In addition to this, the soil is very moist, so that really helps. In addition to, of course, also the paper clippings that we've added, the really shredded paper that we've added to this bin is all very moist at this point. Okay, so now we're going to finally add the worms to this worm bin. These are worms that we've actually taken from another worm bin of ours. We're transporting some of the older worms now into a new home of theirs, into a new container, and we're going to slowly make sure that they are gently placed so that they don't feel a shock as they move in, and you're going to immediately see that they're going to get familiar with the space and dig their way deeper into the soil and deeper into the worm bin, because they're going to, like I said, move right to the base of the worm bin in the start. So I'm just going to keep adding some more. As you can see, the compost, this is fresh vermicompost and compost that is very fresh and also very moist at this point. Just going to add some more worms, make sure that they make their way down and also get familiar with the food that's been left for them. So it's a very simple process. These worms are very easily available at any nursery near you. You can ask any local nursery to source these for you. We've used red worms, red earthworms, red wigglers, I think that's what they're called. They're very good for vermicomposting. They tend to eat a lot of the kitchen waste that you've seen at a very fast pace, and usually within 60 to 90 days you'll see that you'll be able to actually harvest some of the worm castings and use them in your fields at a later stage. So what we're going to show you after this is also an update of some of our earlier worm bins which we built on the 24th of December. So it's been about 20 days, almost a month since we built those, and we've already seen fresh new worms actually come in. The multiplication process has started, and there is also some amount of casting that we are able to take out. So the process, anywhere between 60 to 80 days you'll be able to actually harvest the entire compost from your worm bins itself, the entire vermicompost. But the process will start anywhere between 20 to 30 days. You can start seeing it happening. So it's a great way for you to regularly check up on these worm bins, see the kind of activity that's happening down inside the worms. Of course, be careful every time you're opening to check them, and we're going to show you just how we do that in the next step as we move forward. So I'm going to keep placing some more of the worms into this bin and then slowly cover it up from the top, and then we're going to move to show you some of our previous worm bins and how they're doing. In addition to kitchen scraps, you can also look at procuring coffee grounds from your nearest coffee shop. They make for a great fertilizer, very good for the soil, and would be a perfect addition for this bin. While adding your kitchen scraps, you need to also make sure that you're using no form of citrus whatsoever. Citrus is a huge no-no for worms. So stray away from citrus. Use anything else from veggie scraps, kitchen waste, anything you find in the kitchen, soil tissues, twigs, dried leaves, and everything else that we've already added to this bin, and there you go. Alright, so once your worm bin is completely filled up, all holes are covered, you've reached almost to the top of the worm bin, that's when you can also add a little bit of water Just be careful while spraying it all around so that your compost stays moist and you don't disturb any of the worms. Just sprinkle it all around, make sure the water goes, it will slowly start moving its way down to the bottom. You have it. Once your water is filled and once you're done with water, you take your lid. Remember, I told you that the lid has to also have holes. We've done about 4 to 5 holes here. You can do 3 to 4 holes as well. You just place the lid on the top, and that the lids have holes on them primarily because when it rains, you don't want water settling on the surface of this bin because that can attract mosquitoes as well. So you have the holes for drainage. You just shut it completely, and once it's shut, you take a brick, just place it at the center so that it stays down and avoids any kind of disturbance from the outside world as well. So your worms nestled into their new home, ready to feed on your kitchen scraps. Remember to keep regularly monitoring this to see what kind of activity is happening under the soil. When you're checking the soil to see the worms, make sure you're being very, very careful so that you don't disturb any of the activity of the worms inside these bins. There could be a chance that some of them die, but the chances are rare. In many cases, they'll start multiplying within 20 to 30 days. We're going to move forward to show you some updates on some of our previous bins that we installed on the 24th of December to show you the kind of progress that's happened there and to also show you what's next for those. And then we're going to show you some other ways in which you can actually practice vermicomposting at home that are a little different from this DIY worm bin. So as promised, we're going to have a look at some of our old worm bins. These were planted about 20 to 25 days ago. So we're going to open these up gently and see what kind of activity is ongoing inside these worm bins. Have the worms really reproduced? Are we able to generate and use some of the worm castings from this that we can actually use on our veggie beds? Or do we still need a couple of weeks to do that? Let's have a look. Let's open this very gently to see what kind of activity is going on. And as you can see already, see that there's a lot of fresh compost that has actually come in the last couple of weeks, and of course this will increase. We'll get a lot more worm castings that we can use. And if you take a closer look very gently, I'm gonna just lift this. Here you can see that the worms, some of them have actually come onto the surface of the drum at this point of time. Of course, we're not going to leave this open for too long because we don't want to disturb these worms. So just going to put them back slowly and let them continue doing their business inside these worm towers. So as you can see, in this particular tower, in this particular worm bin, in just 25 days or so, we've already seen that the bin has slowly started creating that vermicompost for us, has slowly started giving us that worm casting that we can extract, that we can use on our veggie beds. This worm casting that we use is extremely valuable to the soil. It helps in aeration of the soil. It's very good for water retention. Provides a lot of micronutritional value to the soil as well. So many different benefits of actually practicing vermicomposting, of using these worm castings and making sure that your plants, your greens have an extremely healthy growth rate, either on your terrace or your balcony or in your garden. So very simple way to do it is using these paint cans that we just showed you, 25-liter cans, easily available in any market. All you have to do is drill some holes, get some worms, use your kitchen scraps, use your leafy veggies, place them in this, regularly monitor them, and within a few months you'll have fresh vermicompost that you can actually use, and you can keep using that. You can keep transferring these worms from one bin to another. That's exactly what we've done here. We started with just 3 bins. Now we're on to about 7 bins in the span of just about a month at Swecha Farm School, and we're going to be doing many more. We're going to show you some, just before winding up this video, we're going to show you some other very interesting ways in which you can practice vermicomposting. Similar to this, there's another system in which we use a PVC pipe. We're going to just show you an example of that. And we're going to show you another system where we've got a much larger scale bed that we've been developing over the last couple of days. So you're going to get a glimpse of 3 different types of ways, of methods in which you can actually practice vermicomposting at home itself. So another option as an alternative to worm bins is what we call worm towers. And as you can see here, what we've used instead of those 25-liter paint buckets, we've actually used a 3 feet tall vertical PVC pipe. Now these, as you can see here, this is what we've used. So this is easily available again at any hardware store, or some of you may even have these at your home. Same process, you have to drill vertically. So if you start somewhere around here, you just leave about this much space at the top. If you start your holes from somewhere around here, you just drill holes vertically all the way till the bottom here. Similarly here, you just make markings all around your PVC pipe so that you have holes all down from top to bottom surrounding the entire circumference of this PVC pipe. And then the same process is what we've already shown to you, where you place it inside your container bed or your veggie bed, your growing bed. As you can see here, this is exactly what we've done. Same system of layering. Add your kitchen scraps, add your worms, cover it up nicely, make holes at the top so that aeration can take place and so that the water doesn't settle at the top. And there you are, a worm tower is ready. So we have worm bins, worm towers, and we're going to show you one last example on how you can compost using a vermicomposting bed, which is slightly large scale, but it's something you can do in your gardens. It's something you can do if you have a farm. It's something you can do at a smaller scale, maybe even on your terrace. This is the final composting unit that we have, the third kind of composting unit that we have at Swecha Farm School. As you can see here, this is a bed that we procured off Amazon. It's available on Amazon. It's a 12 by 4 feet long and wide vermicomposting bed. It does not involve any form of kitchen scrap. So all we're really using here is a thick layer of mulch in the form of bagasse, straw, dried leaves and twigs that we have at the base of this vermi bed. And on top of that is a trolley full of fresh compost that we collected, and right on top of that are the worms. And we've actually covered it with these jute sacks which are moist, which are regularly watered, because of course, as mentioned earlier, these worms require a lot of moisture to breed in and to actually build their homes in. Like I said, no kitchen scraps whatsoever. And right above me here, you can see that we've created a shelter that is providing shade to these worms, because they do not like direct sunlight whatsoever. They like being in dark spaces. They like being in a dark room. So as you can see, you can place them in a dark room, or you can build a makeshift shelter like this for your worms. Of course, this requires a lot more space rather than the worm bins and worm towers that we showed you. So if you do have that kind of space in your homes or in your farms, it's a great addition for your field. If you move here, I'm just going to quickly show you. As we said, this is a work in progress. So we're going to be adding a bucket here. As you can see, there's an outlet from the pipe somewhere around here through which any form of liquid fertilizer seeps out and comes straight through this pipe. As you can already see, there's some fertilizer that we'll be able to extract very shortly, put it in a bucket and use that in our field. So this is the third kind of composting unit that we wanted to show you. Slightly more complicated, no kitchen scraps involved, but equally beneficial and can actually yield a lot more vermicompost than the previous two bins and towers that we showed you. That's all from us today, folks. Hope you enjoyed our masterclass on how you can effectively manage some of your kitchen and household waste, and how you can start practicing vermicomposting just sitting in your balconies, on your terraces, at your homes, in your gardens. We're going to be bringing you more fresh DIY content straight from this space. If you'd like to visit us, we are about an hour from Gurgaon, here at the Swecha Farm School in Sarekhurd, Alwar, at Satyajyoti Farms. In fact, it's a beautiful space, organic farming, regenerative agriculture, beekeeping, and many different practices that you can see, that you can experience, and that you can also be a part of. For more of our content, please feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We put out content every week on masterclasses and podcasts related to issues of environment and sustainability. So until then, see you at the next one.